Hi, everyone. Welcome to A New View. I'm Shira, and I'm here with Kim, Lee, and Juji. We are four friends, speakers, and professionals from different cultures, backgrounds, and age groups coming together to offer healing and inspiration. You know, when we go through the shitstorms of our lives, there's a helpful acronym for the word HOPE. It's Hold On, Pain Ends. So ladies, when has this been helpful for you in your life?
I'll start there. I've had a few friends over the years ask me, in times of struggle, like, how do you believe? How do you trust? How do you hope? Like, how do you, how it seems natural for you almost. Like, how do you just know that it's going to be okay? And honestly, like, I really can't answer that. I just know that the alternative is like, well, then I might as well just go like die or something, because there's just no alternative. I can't imagine going through something hard and not believing and not hoping and have faith that it's going to be okay, that I'm going to survive this. Like, it just feels better to believe that. And I've always felt that way. Something that I don't really talk about much to you guys because it's too painful is, 6 years ago, you guys know that my brother-in-law, who was only 44 at the time, passed away suddenly. And my niece and nephew at the time were 10 and 12. And I was estranged from my sister back then. So I didn't have a relationship with my niece and nephew any longer. And that was a pain I was dealing with for a very long time. But when my brother-in-law passed away, now coming back into my sister's life to help be there for these children during their healing was, and still is, probably the most painful thing like I've ever experienced in my whole life, because I don't have the relationship that I want to have with them. And, family complicated things and all. So here I am mourning the loss of my brother-in-law, which in and of itself was very painful and, will forever be like a small hole in my heart. But this like lack of control to be able to call these kids whenever I want, hug them whenever I want, talk to them whenever I want, like, is the most painful thing I've ever felt. I went to therapy for years to deal with this, like to deal with this pain that just is like this continuing stabbing in my heart. And that feeling of lack of control is like the worst, because there's nothing I can do. I just have to hope that one day I will have this relationship with them where I can openly talk to them and hug them and be there and try to form this relationship that I want. And at the time of Frank's passing, I mean, I can't even imagine what they were going through. So I wanted to be there for them more than ever in my whole freaking life, and to not, and I was there a little bit. I tried so hard, I would go over there, I would try to talk to them, it wasn't easy. And I could see my nephew, you know, retreating to video games and not crying, not mourning, in denial. And I saw my niece, who was kind of opposite. She was nonstop crying and talking about all these ways to celebrate him and just wanting to do things to go through his stuff. Like, they were on like two separate, ends of the spectrum. And I'm hearing these stories from my mom about their healing, and like, to just want so bad to like be a part of their healing, to be the person that they can come to like for that extra love, and not being able to fully be that person. And that was 6 years ago. So even though they're in my life today, my sister's in my life today, there's still a little bit of a gap there. And I'm not the aunt I really want to be. And I hold on to hope that when they're older, what I want will become a reality. So hold on, pain ends. Like, I'm still holding on, because I have to hope that that's going to happen for me. I have to hope I'll talk to my brother-in-law in heaven and just, I'll talk to him and say, I trust one day this will be. I trust this. I hope, I have faith, I believe. But it still hurts all the time, Some days I don't think about it. Other days it pops in my head and it might bring a tear to my eye. Like, it affects me differently every day. So the only thing that I just want to say to end this is we have to hold on. Like, we have to, because if we don't, what's the alternative? Like I said earlier, the alternative is like, I don't want to be here in this lifetime. Then I don't want to live. It's not, doesn't feel good to live if I don't hope that this will happen for me one day,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thanks for sharing that, Kim. I very well know that type of pain. And the word hope, I like hold on, pain ends, but the word hope in and of itself is not always enough. But I do like that you added some of those words like belief and trust. And I would add to that acceptance and letting go, with the trust and belief that something will change. Because you're so right. Sometimes we go through certain situations where if we don't, right, and we don't have control over them, like, just know that you cannot control this situation. God knows we try, but if not, you're right. The alternative is going downhill. It's a downward spiral. And so we get to choose. Are you going to bring yourself up and, dust yourself off and do whatever you can right now for you to stay sane and stay content and joyful? Or are you going to go down that other road? And, so for me, obviously it's been the positive route. With growth and evolvement and leaving it in the hands of whoever, you can call them God, the universe, the angels, whatever, to make things right in the end, right? And I also think, along the lines of when people are suffering, there are some people that I think that not only are suffering inside, but on the outside, everything seems fine and good, and that's okay. But some people, I think, are hiding their suffering from themselves. They're on like nonstop, and it almost refuse to even see it. I've been through a few things in life, and with the cancers and whatever, but and that's actually helped me tremendously, like in my life now. And I've handled pain and certain really tough situations, or they were tough for me, or at the time they were tough, very, very differently today than I did before. And so these really tough experiences that are very, very tough in life, I believe when we do experience them, they really give us a lot more motivation to continue, because at some point it does end. Hold on, pain ends. It will somehow end in one way or another. And so, yeah, for me, it's my past experiences that help me to look at any new obstacles and pain today a little bit differently, and just not hold on to it so much with that control. Letting go is so liberating, and it's a practice.
Totally.
Kim, I would really like to respond to your story, because I remember a few months ago, or not even that long ago, potentially, I was going through something tough, and, we voice note back and forth, and you were being so encouraging and loving and sweet, like you always are. And I was like sending you a voice note back, and I was like, I know this is a portal to my transformation, but it's so hard right now. And something that like really came up for me when you were telling this story about your niece and nephew is that, you know, it's painful for you to watch because, you know, there were certain things that you felt were not present in your childhood, and you didn't want them to go through hard things because you know what that does in adulthood. But again, it made you who you are. And if we're going to get like real existential about, you know, hold on, pain ends, you don't know, us projecting onto other people like that they shouldn't be going through what they're going through, and that causing us pain is almost futile, because we've talked so much about like our destinies and our journeys and like the soul contracts we sign before we come here. It's like, if we can see that there's a bigger plan in place, and it might not look pretty at the moment, you know, knowing in our hearts that actually every painful thing that we go through is for us. It's for what we're here to learn on this earth, because that's what being incarnated means, you know? So taking on someone else's pain because you feel that empathy is like, is shouldering the burden that the universe like that you somehow owe the universe holding this pain, but you don't. I don't know if that makes any sense. I'm trying to like put into words how I feel about it, but like, you know, like I know that they're going to be okay. Like that's just what it is. Like that's what they had. You had to go through what you had to go through. They have to go through what they have to go through. We each individually are here to go through what we have to go through. But I think that that's something that I really is like very comforting, actually.
Mhm.
Like that saying, like God only puts as much on your plate as you can handle. You know?
Even though it doesn't seem it at the time.
I just want to say one thing in response to that. Hold on, pain ends. I definitely, like, it's my own pain. I can see it's my own pain. Like the kids have their own pain. And I'm very, you know, aware that they need to have that pain. That pain is going to make them become who they are going to be. You know, who knows, one day they might, this experience losing their dad might actually inspire them to do something because of it, you know, just like all of us with our childhoods. There is something comforting about it, because it's nice to be reminded that it's just mine. It's, you know, I think my fear is like, or the pain is that the kids are feeling the pain I'm feeling. Like, this feels so bad, and not even this particular situation, but like anybody in life. Like I could feel so bad. Say, Juji, when you were going through your vortex of transformation and you were like really down and crying a lot. And of course I wanted to do everything I could to be there for you. And I definitely felt pain because you're my friend and you're in pain. There is something really relieving to know that, like, my pain isn't your pain and your pain isn't my pain. Like, it's nice to only feel responsible for this, where in life I personally struggle with that. I tend to feel responsible for everyone's emotions. And you know, we'll get to that in another episode.
That's a whole other ball game.
Tim, it's because you're an empath.
Exactly. I
You're
was
an
going to
empath, and
say,
you just
yes,
take
you're the
on, you take it on, right?
I about myself. I swear I never knew that about myself. I feel like these conversations make me realize that.
Yeah, it's very true. And, you know, and it's not unlike having a child. And when they are suffering and going through something, you feel it and you want to nurture them and you want to make it go away. And you're willing to take on that pain and you know, it doesn't work for that either, but it's the empathy, Kim.
So I have to share something with you guys, and that is that, you know, so one of the things that just popped up in my head is that when we say hold on, pain ends, or the word hope, I think there's like logically, or for most people, what goes along with that is something is going to change, and therefore the situation will change and my pain will go away. But for me, it's hold on, pain ends could be like, oh, I'm part of the problem.
Mm.
I have to stop doing what I'm doing in order for the pain to go away. And a lot of us just want the help or the change to come outside of us. And that's usually not the case. And so
That's very true. Yeah.
so you guys know that I've, you know, had issues with my son and, you know, him not talking to me, and talk about pain, lots of pain there. But recently I was listening to a podcast that my good friend Lee told me about, and someone told her about. And it's really shifted some things for me. And I, right before New Year's, well, for a few weeks before that, I was listening to it and I was just writing notes down, and I was just like, I need to let him know how I feel, but I want to listen to every single episode of this podcast. Like, I really want to take it in, and I really want to understand how I've contributed to some of this stuff. And so I hand wrote him a letter about a week and a half ago, and I mailed it in the mail. And I just let it go, because I took responsibility for some of the shit. I think for the longest time, I was acting like a victim, like, but I'm the greatest mom since sliced bread, and I gave you so much love and music and laughter, and how could you possibly treat me this way? But when I really started to break things down and look inside myself, I have a lot of culpability. I do. I allowed a lot of behavior, whether from me and him, or from, you know, my marriage, or just who I was. I've changed so much, but he maybe didn't see that. He saw me raise the person that raised him, which was different from who I am today. And so it just felt so good to like open that mailbox and just put it in and go, I have no control over what happens now. All I know is I have expressed myself in the most real way I ever have in my life. And I do have hope. I do have hope that one day he will, you know, mature, understand, you know, how my coping mechanisms, whether they were healthy or not. That's how I cope with stuff. That's who your mother is, you know. And I've changed, and I am continuing to change. And I really do hope. I have a lot of hope that things will change one day.
Shira, can I just say something to that? It's so important to find joy in the heartache. And I feel like, you know, you guys are all such beautiful examples of that for me. And it's not easy, but it's what's needed in order to live the best life we can during these, you know, with these hard situations and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Absolutely.
I'm definitely the happiest I've, you know, ever been in my life, just like inside. And I just hope to be able to share that with him one day, you know.
And that will help. It's an inside job.
Total 100%. Okay, well, my sweet girls, I think this is a fantastic place to wrap. If you've enjoyed our conversations, please subscribe to our channel, and be sure to let us know if you have any topic requests or questions or comments by writing them down below. We'll see you soon. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.